If you've been keeping up with the channel, you'll know that in many of the previous videos, I have penny roll hunted through these candy cane wrapper penny rolls. If you haven't seen them, check them out. They're really, really good. But many of them have been all copper. As you can see, this one says 83 zinc. That's because I used the wrapper to put zinc pennies in, and this is what I sent back to the bank. Anybody who gets my my penny rolls knows that it's a search through, no copper penny roll. I don't give copper back to the bank. I don't get, you know what I'm saying? So that doesn't make any sense. I mean, if you're a subscriber or a member of this channel, you know that I advocate to keep your copper, right? But 50% copper, 100% copper penny rolls is not realistic. That should not be the expectation. The expectation should be, 10 to 20% copper if you're lucky. And if you find an error or an 82 or a wheat cent, then you're like, wow, or a penny in a really nice condition, mint state condition. It's like, that is extraordinary. So what we're going to do today is we're going to go through a non-candy cane penny roll. Oh, look at this guy. This guy's a pro. Whoever did this. Let me see. I wonder if it looks like there's more than 50 pennies in here. Am I right? Yeah. Yeah, I knew it. Let me see. Yeah, there's 51 pennies in here. There's an extra penny in here. And I saw where was it? On this side, I guess, right? Yeah. I saw the extra. You can see the extra penny there. You see the original line, and then you see it goes up 1 penny. You see the original line here, and then this is where it's at. So you can see that there's an extra penny in there. All right. Now, with that said, the copper pennies, and you could tell like it's not even closing correctly at the top. That's what 1 extra penny does. It'll make it difficult to close but that doesn't matter if it's okay. So let's get this out on the table. Oh yeah, smooth. Is that all of them? I knew it wasn't all of them. I had to ruin it. Okay, so let me see. So there's some copper in here, and most of it looks like it's zinc. That's normal. That is normal. All right, so let's start. With the Shield, the 2019 Shield scent. I hope everybody's having a nice day today. Now, what my experience is, let me go a little closer. That the more zinc is in a penny roll, the quicker I go through the penny roll. And that's because, see how brown this is, but it's zinc. There's less imperfections on most zincs, most. So, my eyes already trained. I guess this is a good example. My eye is already trained to scan the coin. We have not found copper yet. All right, that's a pretty nice kind of concave. Yeah, and you can see the machine doubling on the bottom of the O. But on copper pennies, because of their age, there's a lot more. There's a lot more dings on them, and a lot of times they're darker. So I have to look a little harder. Okay, so see that between the R and I? Now, let me look at it first before I make a statement. It's a very coppery looking reverse, that's for sure. Okay. Now there are two. This is a good topic, Penny, because let me see if the light helps or hurts. I'll leave it off. It doesn't matter. So, what do you think this is? It could be one of two things. Now, most people will say it's a gas blister, and it can be a gas blister, but it can also be what's known as, and I'm going to look it up. I don't want to misspeak. But I remember the first time I saw, I read the definition of this. Let me go to, we're on Google. Coin die bulge. Bulge. Oh, look at that. I spelled it wrong. Okay. Sometimes when a die is improperly hardened, a localized area of die can sink after many strikes on the die. Die subsidence. Oh, the error itself will show as a bulge on the face. This one's on the reverse. Because I put die. The hammer is also a die, right? Isn't the hammer a hammer die? Well, anyway. All right, so that makes sense. So let me tell you what I read and what I understood. So after many hits, right? So this is the anvil, right? On the anvil, if a space was to develop, right? When it on the anvil, right? The part, right? A space was to develop on the die. When it got struck, it would leave the space would cause a bulge on the surface. Now, when I'm reading, it says the what did it say? It said the face, right? So this is, well, I've never heard of it described as the face, right? Some people call this the head, right? Heads and tails, right? Heads and tails. Heads, the obverse, the front or the rear. But I've never heard it described as the face of a coin, unless he's talking about the field, which I don't know. It's interesting that I never heard that before. And it sounds like something that I should have heard before. Right? It's like, oh yeah, the face of the coin, because there's a face there on the head or the obverse. But I've never heard it called the face. If you've ever heard it called the face, let me know in the comments below. Heads, tails, obverse, reverse, front, back. But this one said on one bulge on one face. I've never heard it described as a face. That's weird. Okay, so anyway, I'll keep it there. It's probably a gas blister, but if you don't know what a diabulge is, we just went over it. So I guess it's usually on the hammer. I think this is another zinc. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Nice machine, Dublin. Due to the tilted hub and the bridge ring. No value. There's absolutely no value on this, but that one's pretty nice. That one's pretty nice. All right. Now, it's interesting how I said I still don't think this is copper. It is a copper. Our first copper on the board. Our first copper. It's interesting how I said at the start of this video, we're looking for the wide AM. No wide AM on the 2000. How I said that I go quicker through the zincs. Well, there is a caveat to that, obviously. 99D. I don't know if it doesn't say anything about the Denvers for the wide AM, so I'm assuming that Denvers don't have the wide AM. But you know what happens when you assume. So you can see how it's pointy there, but then on the bottom it shows the regular square machine Dublin, unless that's dirt. Huh. Huh. Copper? Nope. Yeah, so the caveat is if I start to do research on anything. So research can forget about it. A lot of time. I try to do it a little quicker. I try to be a little quicker with my research than in the past. Instead of I wanted to use the word meandering. Instead of meandering on a topic. I wonder if that's the correct use of the word meandering. I feel like meandering means a slow walk, and I want to look at what it means. Meandering. Following a winding. Oh, that's so interesting. Following a winding course. So I mean, someone who's so you're gonna walk slower. That is so funny that I thought meandering meant to walk slow. But it really, I guess what it means is to walk in an in a way that is not expeditious. So it is you know, you could if you're walking in a winding course, you could run it and still go right. Hey, where we at? If you're walking like this, a person could walk slower, faster than you in a straight line, and you could be running. So it's what's the word I'm looking for? It's not a good use of if you're trying to do something quick and you're meandering, you're gonna do it much slower. Let me meandering. It has to. What does meandering mean for a person? To wander aimlessly. Okay, thank you. Without urgency. Okay, so I used it correctly. I did use the. Okay, so there's a bunch. Wow, what a great word, right? Meandering. To wander aimlessly. So I guess maybe if you're lost, like in the woods, you might meander, wander aimlessly, or with lack, or it also says lack of urgency. So it could be not that you're lost, but you just anyway. Oh man. All right. So I try not to meander while I am. So I used it correctly. That's crazy. I never looked up the word. I just was familiar with it from memory. So I try not to meander while I'm right wander. I try not to wander aimlessly while I'm doing my videos. Now, I'm going to have to say if you have a successful YouTube channel, chances are you're not meandering. Um, now, because I think people have a pretty low tolerance for that, to be honest with beauty. A nice one. Our second copper, and it's a beauty, a 68. That was nice. I don't know about getting 10 coppers out of here. Meandering. If you knew the definition of meandering prior to me mentioning it, let me know in the comments below. That's a good uh, study word. Oh wow! Look how the force moved the element on the surface. See, these are the types of pennies. Obviously, I mean, this doesn't necessarily have to be a parking lot penny. To move it and for it, if it, you would think that if it was just pushed, that it would have came off. Or that's a weird looking damage right there. That's odd. Meandering. 64. The 64s. I'm always going to check out the date, and I think the eyelid, which, if I remember correctly from, see, this one looks like there's a little dimple over the cheek. But if I remember correctly, it's in front of the eye. I don't think that's it on the cheek there. I'd have to look at that though. And this is again, this is the problem with, or the challenge with copper coins. So is that they have wear, and the wear makes all these little dents and dimples. So for example, on the 4, you see on the front there on the tip, it looks like it has a little dent or indentation. And when I looked at it under the loop, all these marks appear to be more like damage. Even though the field looks pretty clean, I have to be honest. The field looks pretty clean. But I don't see anything that might be considered a dye variation. Meaning a coin that the dye has been identified, excuse me, the die has been identified with some sort of error on it, where they have found probably hundreds of thousands or tens of thousands of the coin with marks that identify that specific die. So that is another copper, one of the pluses, one of the positives of researching another copper. No, 87 of so this is, by the way, this is episode 284. I didn't mention it before, but this is episode 284. So that's one of the benefits of researching, is that you will begin to learn the different terminology for, I'm a little too close now for whatever reason. What do you think? 2022 and 23. So we're looking for the, the 23s, I guess, also have that grease strike something on the bottom. Of course, you want to see an extra V, but the 24 is the one that is most known for it, and has the very like weak letters. But some 23s have it also. Let me look at see if there's an extra V on this, which there is not. I found one extra V out of all the. This is a beauty, though. Thought it was a 22, but I knew it could have been obviously newer. I'm going to put that on the side. It's a nice penny. Ah, nice. 92, we're looking for the close AM. That's a wide AM. See the big space between the A and the M? That's wide. The close AM is about $100 in fine condition. So, for example, the close AM, right, as I just mentioned on the 1992s, is a die variation. I don't know how many dies have the close AM, have the A and M on them on the reverse that is close. But there's a die that had the A and M too close, and that die made many pennies, 1992 Philadelphia pennies with a close AM. That's how it works, right? Now, the question is how many dies, right? Oh, you got an 82, a copper 82. Nice. Philadelphia large date. Pretty nice condition. The question is how many were made. Well, I'm going to assume that I've never found one, right? And they're pretty expensive, right? They're more expensive than the wide AMs, which I have found one. I have found the wide AM. And so I'm going to assume that that's because they were less frequent. Another copper. Copper's on the bottom, huh? Think it sank down to the bottom because it's heavier? I'm going to let you ponder that for a second. What I said was I'm finding coppers now closer to the bottom of the penny roll. My question was, do you think there's more copper on the bottom of the penny roll because copper is heavier than zinc and it sank down to the bottom? I'm going to let you think about that for a minute. Do you think the copper pennies are sinking to the bottom of the penny roll because they're heavier? All right. I'll let you meander on that for a while. Another 23. All right. That's the trivia question for the day. What a beauty. I put that with the other one. It's actually nicer than the other one. They're both sweet. All right. If you collect it. you know, is that dirt? Yeah, that's one thing about coins and and rolls, that they'll come with animal hairs and people hair and oh my god, I found some real dirty pennies. All right, so we're up to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're up to 7 coppers. So of course the answer is no, right? Copper doesn't sink to the bottom. Doesn't matter what it is, right? Pennies can't change places inside of a penny roll. So that was a trick question. A trick question. Seeing if you're awake, you need a cup of coffee this morning or night or whenever you're watching it. Really. This is zinc, 83. Look how coppery though the penny does look. Like they were still making them just like copper pennies at this point. You can see the blistering on it though. Like I've weighed some of them. You can tell it's clad just by the surface. I don't need to weigh it. Meander. It's a great word. Great word. 2001. So I automatically still check the AM, but it's not identified as as having a die with the wide AM. So I'm going to assume that it's not out there. But when you find one of those key varieties, all you're doing is finding a coin that was made by a specific die. Now, and if you research it, I believe, and somebody could correct me if I'm wrong, but they have some. I've seen it before where they've identified the die. Right? They have. I don't know if the die has a specific number, but they've identified it. Here's a 22. Yeah, it's not as nice as those 23s, though. Let's see. We got any copper in here? Maybe there's one more copper. Maybe not. So the video has we made it to a half hour, my half hour goal. 2001, right? No, it's the 1998, 99, and 2000. The 2001 does not come with a wide AM that I know of. No, might not be any more copper in this one. It's getting chilly out there. I had to put the heat on for the first time today. 88. We're looking for the Flare G. This is a good example of a non-flare G. I don't know if you can see it through the, but it's very identifiable and very straight up and down. The flare G has the crosslet, as they say on the number 4. I don't know if it would still be called the crosslet or if it would be called the serif. No, it's not the serif. The serif is the is something else. Has to do with the typography or the typeset or something. The font has to do with the font. Serifs have to do with the font. Yeah, so it's straight up and down. Almost looks like a C. Right? So that's without the flare. So I hope you enjoyed the video. You know, one of my goals is to use language and terminology that helps improve your working knowledge of penny roll hunting, which of course is transferable to other types of coins. But that's one of my goals, besides making it entertaining and but also to make it thought-provoking, right? I like my videos to be thought-provoking because learning about coin errors and other aspects of coin collecting has been thought-provoking for me. So I'd like to share that with you, and I hope I achieved my goal today. And I will see you in episode 285. We got you can see about 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And there's 2 here, right? Yeah, there's 2 there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's it, man. That's a good that's a good roll, you know. 15, 16% copper. That's all you can ask for. That's more than you can ask for, right? Because eventually one day it's going to be 0 copper. They're going to take everything out and it's just not going to be in circulation anymore. So again, I hope I made this thought provoking for you. I'm going to go get my cup of coffee. I made this video prior to having my coffee today, and because it was a little early. And now what I'm going to do is download the video to my desktop. Of course, there's easier ways to do it, and probably younger, smarter people do it that way, where they use their phone, boom, they record it straight to YouTube. They press a few buttons, their thumbnails made, and that's really would be. And my son does it that way. He does whole videos and editing and all kinds. People pay him to do when he goes to shows. They'll pay him to do videos and editing for them. He'll follow people around. They'll pay him some money. But I'm still the old fashioned. I do the I download it to the desktop, and then I make my thumbnail, and it takes longer to do that, but that's okay. I'm not. Business is slow, so I have the extra time. No big deal. All right. So again, God bless. I'll see you in the next episode, and I hope you have a blessed day.